of Kansas City, Missouri, Parks and Rec, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the grand opening of the Tony Aguirre Community Center outdoor pool. I'm Brad Clay, Deputy Director of the Parks and Recreation Department, and today marks a major milestone for our West Side community, and I'm honored to celebrate it with all of you. The brand new $4.3 million outdoor pool is more than just a place to swim. It's a reflection of Kansas City's deep commitment to equity, access, and building modern, inclusive spaces for all residents. We've listened to the voices of this neighborhood and worked hand in hand with community partners to create a space that is safe, welcoming, and truly captures the spirit of the West Side. With a diving board, climbing wall, zero-depth entry, water slide, play feature, and more, this pool was thoughtfully designed to serve families of all ages. A place to gather, to cool off, and to connect. And the timing couldn't be better. July is known as National Parks and Recreation Month, and this year's theme is Build Together, Play Together. This project is a perfect example of that spirit in action, a community-driven effort that's built for togetherness, health, and fun. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Quentin Lucas. Thank you so much for your leadership.
Appreciate you being out here. All right. There we go. And I also want to make sure, I don't know why some of them are hiding. We got a very good parks board here, and we got a majority. So what that means is y'all can spend even more money here on the West Side for something else. But I see behind me, I'll go with Commissioner Pat Contreras. Thank you for being here. And everybody from the Parks Board, let's give them a round of applause. Although because I see them, I can say Mike Meyer, Beth Haight, and Stephanie Smith. Thank y'all for being here. I also want to make sure I give a shout out to my colleagues on the city. This was one of our earlier votes, and they have done outstanding work. So let's give it up for our 4th District Council members who are here with us today. And so, of course, I got a lot of people to thank, but I want to thank all of y'all. So back in 2022, we were running around the city and saying, hey, there's this important question about parks on the ballot. We have a lot of deferred maintenance. We have a lot of issues. I came right here to this community center. I was on a basketball court where, you bounce the ball, then it would just kind of die and roll on down. And I knew we needed to do more. I actually was looking at the pool that was broken at the time inside and saw that we needed to do more. The people of Kansas City, by a vote of 71% to 29%, voted yes for our parks, yes for our communities, and yes for our kids. So I thank you. Let's clap for Kansas City. Let's clap for all of you. So because it is a hot day and we got a few speakers, y'all don't need to listen to me long. I'm excited to get in the water wearing my usual outfit for the water here in Kansas City Parks and all of that. I got my trunks on, trying to follow the rules, Director. But more than anything, I thank you all for making this such a special space. Generations of kids will enjoy this and will get to benefit from it when we have hot summers and hot weekends like we just had. And by the way, we are second fiddle to nowhere else. Y'all don't need to go to pools in other communities. Y'all don't need to have to pay for expensive pools. Right here at home on the West Side, you have a wonderful pool, an exceptional facility. This is also the closest city pool to my house. So thank you, sir, for making sure my children can enjoy it. And more than anything, thank you all for being part of this. With that, let's clap again. We'll be happy. With that, I introduce to you the 4th District at-large council member, Crispin Rea.
For this community, you all look beautiful today. Smiles, energy. This is what community is about. This is what it looks like when a community raises its voice and refuses to lower that voice, and folks at City Hall listen and execute. This has been a long time coming, and I've got a long list of folks to recognize that have made this moment possible. First, I want to start with Don Lear Construction. We put these folks on a tight timeline. I was out here sick to do a live interview, and they were already out here working to make sure this project finished on time. If you are here from Don Lear Construction, please raise your hand so that everyone here can thank you all for the hard work. Not able to join us today for a family emergency. However, he was very aggressive in working with Don Lear Construction and updating City Council on the progress here. He and his staff at the Parks Department did an incredible job to make sure this got done in time for this moment right now. So please, if you're here at the Parks Department, please raise your hand so we can give you a round of applause. Think of to wear today. I asked him what he was going to wear. Sometimes we coordinate our outfits, and he said he was going to dress as a dad going to the pool with his kids, and I think he nailed it. You're going to hear from him in just a second. However, this project would not have gotten done without his cooperation and partnership. It is great having a court district that we have, for the most part, a shared agenda to work on important projects like this, and it wouldn't happen if we didn't have that partnership in navigating things that come through the City Council. I want to thank my City Council colleagues and the Mayor for getting on board and voting to fund this project, because it would not have happened without that support. And I want to thank the community. There are many of you who, as you saw when the Mayor asked you to, raise your hands as folks who had worked on this, some of them standing behind me. It's hard to make that recognition without thinking of the late Charlie Lona, who put in hours of his own time making this happen. Many folks, like Bobby Hurtado, who won't let us forget, he also worked on it, Javier Perez. Charlie was a strong advocate for this community. He spent decades fighting for better schools, for better community centers, for better neighborhoods, and this is a product of his work.
I didn't get the memo, even though we texted back and forth about what we were going to dress like today. But hopefully we can get him down the slide in his dress apparel here. I think Councilman Ray really hit the nail on the head when he said this is a community project. This was a project that was envisioned by this community, this neighborhood, who said we're tired of having the closest public on the other side of the state line. Now we've got a pool in the heart of the 4th District, in the heart of the West Side, and that is incredibly important, and it would not have happened without the leadership of this community. So give it up for the West Side neighborhood. And without our staff, who said, and our Parks Board, to be clear, who said this is important enough for us to figure out a way to fund it. It's like we didn't come to the table with every dollar at the very beginning to make this thing a reality. But it was the Parks staff, the Parks Board, who did make it a reality. And so I want to do another round of applause for Parks and Rec staff and the Parks Board for all of their leadership in making sure that this comes to reality. And so before I go up that diving board to do my cannonballs, and I am going to, it is my pleasure to introduce Parks Board President Beth Hayden, who's going to come up and give a few remarks. So thank you all so much for being out here today. Excuse me, Pat Contreras will give us a few words.
Thank you, Councilman. How's everyone doing? It's so good to see you all. On behalf of our Parks Commission and Parks Board, thank you so very much for being here for today and for the commitment to see this thing through. Thank you to Chris Cotton, and shout out to our Parks Commissioners, Michael Myers, Stephen E. Smith, and Park Board President Beth Hayden. Together we oversee 221 parks and boulevard systems throughout the KC Metro. And I'll tell you what, that's a lot of grass to mow. But we're not here to talk about the numbers, we're here to talk about the name, Tony Fish Aguirre. We're here to talk about the legacy that he has left with us. Born in 1929 to Mexican immigrants, friendship, intelligence, sportsmanship, and honor. That's what made up that unique nickname that we called him. And he lived up to every letter of it. Even if, ironically, I don't think I ever saw the man swim. Tony was a standout Redemptorist high school student graduating in 1949 and was almost drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. But instead of pursuing the big leagues, at just 17, he started volunteering at the Guadalupe Centers Incorporated. And for the next 60 years, he coached baseball, basketball, softball, football, and probably chess, checkers, and dodgeball if you gave him an extra few minutes.
Here we go.